July 4th, 2024, Labour stormed to a landslide victory in the UK general election. Keir Starmer became Britain's most popular politician, promising a fresh start after 14 years of Conservative rule. But within few months, his approval ratings collapsed, and in less than 2 years, he was forced to step down not just by the Britisher, but by his own MPs.
The government has lost control of the British economy.
Britain is ungovernable.
Starmer overpromised and underdelivered.
The UK has a chronic inflation problem.
And I apologise again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Here he was, having his glasses and his suits paid for by a donor.
Unfortunately, Keir is not Winston Churchill.
Welcome to Behind the Numbers, and today we will be talking about the mistakes that ended Keir Starmer. It takes a lot of time, effort and research to bring these videos for you, so kindly hit that subscribe button. Starmer in his campaign had stated that he is a serious politician and that he was willing to make tough decisions. But it turned out to be a big lie. His 2 years in office were marked by policy U-turns, broken promises and controversial decisions. One of his first major moves was to scrap the winter fuel payment for millions of pensioners, a decision that sparked fierce public outrage and anger within his own party. And immediately Starmer made a U-turn, but the damage was done. And that's when people began to realise that Starmer wasn't as strong or as decisive as Britain had believed. During his election campaign, Starmer repeatedly promised that he wouldn't raise taxes on working people. But taxes on wages in the UK rose to the highest level in the rich world. Then came a £40 billion package of tax increases, with businesses bearing much of the burden. The government argued the measures were necessary to repair the public finances and raise billions for public services. But critics warned they would discourage hiring and investment. In the months that followed, the UK job market weakened, with unemployment rising during Starmer's time in office. Labour also failed to deliver on its promise to build new homes. The real bombshell for Starmer came on August 24th, 2024, when the Times reported that Labour donor Wahid Ali had been given a temporary Downing Street security pass shortly after Starmer became Prime Minister. It also emerged that Starmer had accepted expensive gifts, including designer clothes, luxury glasses, and Taylor Swift concert tickets for himself and his wife, with many of them initially going undeclared. After facing intense backlash, Starmer announced on October 2nd that he would pay back the value of the gifts. No investigation concluded that a criminal offence had been committed, but the controversy directly clashed with Labour's central message. After all, Starmer had spent years criticising previous Conservative governments over standards in public life. His own administration became embroiled in the very scandals he had promised to stamp out. His Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, was forced to resign following a tax scandal. For years, the UK's tax system incentivised some of the world's richest people to settle in the country by allowing them to avoid paying tax on their foreign income and investments. That's why by 2024, around 74,000 non-DOMs were living in Britain. These people created thousands of jobs and played a major role in Britain's economy. But despite that, on April 6th, 2025, the Labour government abolished the non-DOM tax status, hoping the move would raise around £12 to £13 billion over 5 years by taxing the wealthy. But the plan backfired badly. According to reports, more than 16,000 millionaires left UK in 2025, the largest single-year outflow ever recorded. Their departure dealt a major blow to the UK economy, costing the country investment, businesses, jobs, and future development. Starmer also promised to stop illegal immigration, but there was a 13% increase in it. Another major blow to Starmer's government came with his decision to appoint Peter Mandelson as Britain's ambassador to Washington. Then, on September 10, 2025, Bloomberg revealed that Mandelson's ties to Jeffrey Epstein were far closer than previously known. Starmer stated that he wouldn't have appointed him if he knew. Later, it was revealed that Mandelson had in fact failed the vetting process, but was approved for the job anyway. Starmer was considered one of the few world leaders who had a good working relationship with Donald Trump. In fact, many saw him as Europe's soft-spoken Trump whisperer. But then came the Iran war. That was where the two leaders began to drift apart, as Starmer didn't believe the war was a good idea. In doing so, he lost one of the few political advantages he still had, his close relationship with Trump. which had long been seen as one of his greatest strengths. Trump even mocked Britain's aircraft and how the relations are not the same. And all of it ultimately became the final nail in the coffin. That moment came during the local elections. The right-wing Reform and left-wing Greens shocked everyone. Labour finished fourth with only 17%, just 1% ahead of Liberal Democrats. The result also highlighted how fractured UK politics had become, with no party managing to secure even 30% of the vote. And can you really blame the British people for it? No, you can't. The British economy is in shambles. There are no jobs, no future, and even the trust in NHS has been lost. UK is projected to have the second slowest economic growth in G7, and the UK sits near the bottom when it comes to wage growth. And above all that, the manufacturing sector, something Britain has always taken pride in, has also declined. Many people believe Brexit is the real reason the country is in this state. The European Union was the world's largest trading bloc, and when Britain joined it in 1973, it gained duty-free access to around 250 million consumers. But somehow between 2010 and 2016, many Britons began to feel that they were contributing more to the EU than the EU was giving back to Britain. And despite around 42% of British exports going to the EU, they voted to leave. Almost overnight, businesses had to deal with customs declarations, VAT procedures, rules of origin, paperwork, and border checks. For many small businesses, those new trade barriers proved overwhelming, and critics argue they contributed to business closures and the loss of millions of jobs over time. According to reports, Britain's GDP is 6 to 8% smaller than what it would have been in the EU. Nominations for a new Labour leader, who will automatically become Prime Minister, will open on July 9th. Former Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham is currently the frontrunner to become the next Prime Minister. But perhaps Keir Starmer was never the real story. His resignation may have closed one political chapter, but it doesn't solve Britain's biggest problems. The economy remains weak, public services are under pressure, businesses are struggling, and the country is more politically divided than it has been in decades. Whoever replaces him will inherit the very same challenges that brought him down. The question is no longer whether Starmer failed. The real question is whether any Prime Minister can truly turn Britain around, or whether the country is paying the price for decisions made years before he ever entered Downing Street. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click the bell icon.